Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Brewer and Terry Huberman.
Hey there, welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast. I am your co-host, Terry Huberman.
And I am Kathy Groover, and we're really excited to have you back for another episode of a fantastic show. We thought we would institute something new since we're just exploring how the formatting of the show is going to go. So we thought we would start today by picking an angel card. These are really common. I tend to have this in my office, and clients love to grab it after their session. So let's randomly pick a card just to see what the word of the day is, sort of like Pee Wee Herman, right?
Word
Oh,
of the day.
truth.
Of course that would come up, right? Of course.
Of course, that would come up.
Yeah.
Nothing going on in the world having to deal with truth right now, so I don't know why that would come up at all. But truth, yes, I'm just gonna let truth sit there. So we have a special treat today. We thought every so often we would go a little more woo on the woo meter on the scale of woo, and so we're gonna do a reading today. We're gonna do it. Well, Terry's gonna do a reading, and I'm gonna sit here because that's not my
No,
jam
wait,
necessarily.
but Kathy, you are intuitive. So
Yes, I am.
if there is something that you're getting, because I don't know if you know, it's called linking. When more than one psychic is working together, you link up. And so if you get information, share the information.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't want you to think you just have to sit there. You're not just sitting
You
there,
know,
girlfriend.
you know, I'm not shy. If something comes, I'm going to be charging in with that.
Yeah.
But to know this is a very special treat. So Terry's going to pull a card, a couple cards. How do you want to do that?
Yeah. I'm going to be using, and I love this deck. I'll use the Power Animal Oracle card deck.
Ooh, beautiful.
And the way these cards are kind of set up, they're really cool because they're a little instructional. So with the instruction, it'll kind of give us direction as well. And then whatever comes in, we'll just use the cards as a tool. I guarantee you're going to get information, Kathy. I will be in shock and awe if you don't. So we'll read for the collective, like basically everybody. Well, yeah, basically everybody in the world, but if you're watching this and you're listening to this, then you'll know that it's more specific to you. I guess that's a better way of saying it because it is
Yep.
for everybody. But if you're listening, it's like especially for you. And always, please, 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 please be discerning.
Yeah.
Just because we say something, it doesn't mean you have to grasp onto it and run away with it. If it doesn't feel right to you, do not take that information. Okay? Because
Yep.
it's got to resonate. It doesn't matter who is working on you, a healer, a psychic, a shaman, a medium. If it doesn't sit right with you, it doesn't sit right with you. And listen to that. That's important information. So I,
Thank you for saying that. I have clients that blindly believe
yeah,
whatever so and so says.
you
I literally
can't.
had this conversation with a client yesterday. He is a doctor friend. And I said, he goes, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, like ask other doctors. He goes, well, I'm still going to listen to my guy. And I put my hand on him. I said, well, then you made your decision.
Yeah. And the thing
It's like,
is
if
like,
you won't even entertain anything else,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And the other thing is also, it's a lot of pressure on us if you're just going to take what we say is the word of God because
yep.
we are not perfect. Right.
What?
So
Wait,
what?
now,
Oh, wait,
hang
I'm
on.
sorry. Wait. Kathy's perfect. I'm
No,
not
no,
perfect.
no. Please don't put that out there. I have enough pressure in my life. I don't need that.
I'm kidding. But that's a
I was just
lot.
shocked because,
Yeah, no, of course, of course. But I mean, you have to take responsibility for your life and your actions because you have your own karma, you have your own soul contracts, and we are humans, we make mistakes, and we're not perfect and all knowing. And remember, we're downloading data. We have to interpret it based
yep,
on our internal bank of communication and then we're translating it, right? So it's like a three-step process that we could easily get wrong. So
yep,
we might be saying it in a way that doesn't resonate with you. So
yep,
also the other thing you want to do is sit with the information. Just don't rush out and like take it there. So
yep.
you get to have the control, you know. You really do.
Yep.
So, okay.
I love it.
I love it, love it. So the woo meter is going to go on the higher end today, hopefully.
Hi, woo.
Hi, woo. All right. Here's where we're going to start. So this is for the collective. And this is going to be our first card. It is, it's so appropriate for this podcast. It is the whale, the soul's path. On
Uh,
honor your soul's purpose.
mm,
Okay. Okay. So that's the first card. Let me grab another card here. We have bear, boundaries, stand your ground.
mm,
Do you see how this story is already starting to form?
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. And last one, giraffe, foresight. You are able to see what's in store for the future.
Wow.
So these are our cards for right now. And this is for the collective, okay? So
Beautiful.
you can personalize it for yourself, but this is for pretty much everyone in general.
Hmm.
All right. So the first bit of information that I'm getting is that it's super, super important that in or it's a bit of a challenge. So this is work. This is where we as humans have to start taking accountability and responsibility for our, it's not even just actions, but for our desires. Okay. You have to know who you are in order to truly, authentically know what you want, in order to truly and authentically be aligned with the actions so that you can get what you want, right? So you can trust yourself. You can
Yep.
trust yourself. So in this process of getting to know yourself, getting to know your preferences, getting to know what you will and will not tolerate, understanding what you could or should do is going to allow you to not only honor your soul's purpose because it's going to take you in a direction, but it's also going to teach you as well. And so the more you know about yourself, the better you can actually the clearer the path of what you should do is going to show up for you, right? So that's gonna entail having to stand your ground, right? Meaning
Yep.
setting boundaries. And I think what a lot of people
Boundaries.
don't
Yes.
and that's the thing is like I think a lot of people feel like boundaries are punishments. Like you have a boundary to punish someone else.
Mm-mm.
But the boundaries are set so that you can contain your energy.
Yep.
So that,
And
yeah,
well, and protect yourself, right? So we have people who
exactly.
are the non-confrontational pleasers, and we sort of talked about that last week with the whole empath narcissist
Yeah,
dynamic, right?
yeah.
Who they feel like they're going to be a bad guy if they set boundaries. They feel like someone's not going to like them if they set boundaries. And in the future, we're going to do a whole episode on boundaries and narcissistic communication, that sort of thing. But I think that's so important because to go, can I circle back to the whale for a second?
Yeah, please.
I love this. So to know who you are, to know what you really want. So my biggest question to my coaching clients is, what do you want?
Hmm.
And I get answers like, I just want to be happy.
Hmm.
I don't know what that means, and I can't help you get that. So like, let's distill that down to what you truly want.
Hmm.
And it's the root cause analysis, right? So I had a woman come to me after a talk, and I was talking about affirmations, right? Because I love affirmations. We'll do a
Hmm.
whole episode on affirmations. And she
Yes.
said, "What happens if you're affirming something that can't happen?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She had a psychologist, she was a psychologist, and she had a patient who was affirming every day that he would win the lottery.
Mm.
Well, he was in jail. He couldn't even buy a ticket, but that was his affirmation every day. And I said, "Well, what does he want?" And she said, "He wants to win the lottery." And I said, "No, that's not what he wants.
No.
What does he want?" And she said, "Oh," and we kind of distilled it down to he wants to make a bunch of money. Why? Because he wants to start a foundation. Why? Because he wants to help other young Black men not fall into the trap he did of drugs and gangs and crime. So I said, "Great. Well, he doesn't want to win the lottery. He wants to help people."
Hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my God, you're right." And I
Hmm.
said, "Now, how can he help people? Can he start a blog? Can he do a podcast? Can he write a book? Can he be a big brother?" It was limited because he was in prison.
Sure.
But I think so often we don't ask ourselves the question of what do we want? We think we want what society said, what our parents said, what our teacher said. And so I think sometimes if we start from the what do we want, it shows us who we truly are.
Yeah, I
So,
think, yeah, because a lot of times what I'll do with my clients is similar to you, except I reverse engineer.
mm,
Because when you reverse engineer something, it can actually be clearer as so you know what the next step is. So you start backwards, right? Just like you're saying, well, what is it I want? I want to help people, right? But you do have to, I mean, you do have to be specific because just being happy is not enough. It's like, what makes you happy and why do you want the happiness? And what does happiness look like to you in your senses? What does it smell like,
yep,
taste like, sound? Because the thing is, we're human. So we have to actually use our physical senses in order to embody the energy of it so that we can actually make it happen.
yep,
That's the manifestation about it. But that's, yeah, exactly. So the more you know yourself,
yeah,
the more, I guess the word would be articulate, although I shouldn't say that because when you're super feely like me, it's hard sometimes to use human words to describe what you're feeling. So I have
yeah,
to be careful when I say articulate because there are times where I'm like not articulate because I'm so feely. But that's a whole
yep. Oh,
other
I agree with you.
that's a whole other thing. But yeah, honoring your soul's purpose exactly is really important about that. So I'm glad you
Yep.
shared that because that was really good. Is there anything else that is jumping out at you, Kathy, that
No, I'm interested to get to the giraffe. So we've got the
yeah,
know
right,
yourself and honor your
right,
soul's purpose. We've got setting those
right.
boundaries and standing your ground, which, we just all need to be better at. And I had a client yesterday who said, "Boy, I wish I could stop watching the news." And I went,
Hmm.
"So stop watching the
So
news."
yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, but you can't escape it. We watch the evening news to see what about the weather." And I went, "Honey, there's a weather app on your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do you need to watch the evening news to see that it's hot?" I mean, we're in California. Just it's hot. That's just what we got,
I
But he's torturing himself by watching. He's hearing about it because he's like, "I can't get away from it." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Yes, you can."
Yeah, I
That's
mean, that's a perfect example of knowing yourself, right? So, like, if you
that's true too.
know, yeah, if you know that watching the news or if you're super sensitive, right, and you see like all these just the headlines, forget the stories, okay? When you're empathic, like the headlines will make you cry or laugh or poop your pants or whatever, right? But when you know that, then that's where the accountability comes in, where you have
Yep,
to actually take the action, which is becomes aligned action. So if this guy just wants weather, he's not practicing self-care.
yep. And he just had a stroke.
Oh, poor guy.
So
So
he's like,
bad
we're
for
trying
him.
so desperately to keep him
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, first thing, turn off the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's where this giraffe of the foresight you're able
Mm,
to see comes in because if you're too clouded
yeah.
with no, let's make this simple, just not good feelings. It's going to be hard for you to see what direction you should go in because it may not be a real, true, authentic direction. So
Mm,
when we get the giraffe here in foresight, to me, it's telling me about direction. If let's say you want to work towards a goal, right? You've got to be able to honor your soul's purpose. You've got to be able to set boundaries so that you can find those steps to take, which is your path. So you know what to do inside of you, but this is where the accountability and responsibility comes in. It's like you've got to
yep.
do something about it. And most people, bless their hearts, will talk about it, but not do anything about it. So it's almost like you've got it within you. And so just to sort of bring it back home and put it all together, right now we're in a space where we could actually get what we want, but we have to know who we are. We have to be able to create that space through boundaries, and then the path can show up. Like it'll be super clear, you know what step to take
Hmm.
next. Then you can take that step, and that's the aligned action.
Yep.
That is the aligned action. So people who are like complaining about things, they're especially the people who need to practice this right now, because complaining is just going to keep you on the wrong path. And you could know yourself
Absolutely.
really well, right? You could be setting boundaries, but if you're complaining, you're getting clouded because you're not actually taking responsibility and accountability. There's no responsibility accountability card here, but that just keeps coming up. And
Yeah.
that's,
Well,
part of the,
and also to your point about the complaining, if you're complaining about something, all you're doing is focusing on that thing, and where we put our attention, it grows.
right.
So if you're complaining about things you don't want, you're going to get more of what you don't want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting. Yay, I love this.
Yeah.
Hey, our first reading,
Yeah.
we got the whale, we got the bear, we got the giraffe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so
Nice.
know yourself,
Yeah.
stand your ground and set those boundaries. We'll talk about that in the future, and
Yeah.
find that direction, right? Take that
Yeah.
pointed action. Yay, this was great
Yeah.
and beautifully. We're right on time.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
Ah, we're getting it. We're
We're
getting
getting
it.
it. We're
All right,
getting
and
it.
we with our woo meter went up a little bit. It's not quite all the way, but it's
That's
teetered near the
okay.
edge. Okay,
We're doing our best.
we're doing our best. Cool. I am Kathy Groover. I could be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Terry Huberman. You can find me at terryhuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast. We'll see you soon.
See ya.